No one wants to have an undercooked or overcooked cake. That is why it is best to know how long to bake a cake correctly. Make sure to fill the cake pans up only halfway to prevent the cake batter from overflowing the cake pan. Likewise, doing this guarantees even baking. How long to bake a cake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit oven? 25 to 30 minutes for 15 by 10 by 1 inch long jelly roll cake. 30 minutes for 2 9 by 1.5 inch round baking pans. 25 to 35 minutes for 2 8 by 8 by 2 or 9 by 9 by 2 inches baking pans. 25 to 40 minutes for a 10 inches loaf cake. 35 to 40 minutes for 2 8 by 1.5 inches round baking pans. 30 to 35 minutes for 13 by 9 by 2 inches, a quarter sheet cake. 35 to 1 hour for 10 inches cheesecake made in a springform pan. 35 to 1 hour for 12 cups bundt cake or angel food cake pan. Do not open the oven as the cake bakes. The drastic temperature change results in the cake sinking instead of rising, since continually opening the oven lets in cool air. For instance, cheesecakes can produce cracks due to temperature changes. That is why it is essential to follow the recipe's baking time, and only check the cake's doneness at least 1 to 2 times. A good alternative is to buy an oven thermometer. Moreover, be sure to lessen the oven temperature by 25 degrees Fahrenheit whenever you utilize a convection oven. Ideally, decrease the baking time of cakes, bread, cupcakes, bars, and brownies for approximately 5 minutes. Likewise, make sure to reduce the baking time by about a minute less for cookies. Tips and tricks when you bake a cake. Baking an excellent cake relies on the correct chemical reactions, so it is best to precisely measure the ingredients and following the recipe's step-by-step instructions. In addition to that, ensure to grease the cake pan based on the recipe instructions. Likewise, if the cake does stick to the cake, you can use frosting to cover up any mistakes. Never allow the cake pans to touch the oven walls or even each other. Moreover, ensure to cool the cake entirely to make it easier to frost. Likewise, the longer the cake sits, the less likely the cake will crumb while frosting it. Similarly, a cold cake can hold together excellently, so it is best to wrap the cake in cling wrap. Then, please put it in the freezer for 30 to 45 minutes before you frost it. How to store cakes appropriately. Store cakes with whipped frosting or cream and butter in the fridge as soon as possible. Also, refrigerated cakes usually dry out, so you should eat them within a few days. The ideal approach in storing cakes is in a glass cake container that sits on the kitchen counter to warm to room temperature. Moreover, cake layers freeze excellently, so wrap each layer in cling wrap. Afterward, put the cake layers in resealable freezer bags. If you want to freeze an already frosted cake, then make sure to put it in the freezer on a foil-lined baking sheet. With that, freeze it overnight or for approximately 8 hours. After that, wrap it in a cling wrap once it is frozen hard. Then, put the wrapped cake into a container or a freezer bag. Also, unfrosted layers will keep their flavor for around 3 months. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.